You're locked into Hits 92.3. The views, stories, and opinions shared on this program belong solely to the hosts and their guests. They do not represent the views of Hits 92.3 Radio, management, staff, partners, advertisers, parent companies, or affiliates. And if you don't know what any of that means, listener discretion is advised. Now sit back, turn up your volumes, and enjoy the content from one of the greatest, dopest radio personalities to ever touch this microphone in 3, 2, 1.
Every day is a new choice. We make our beds and we lie in them. Who do you want to lay down with? Choose wisely. Met you on Friday, picked you up on Saturday. Sunday night you calling me over and over and over again, telling me that you're ready to rock me steady, rock steady. I got you so addicted, I should've never let you taste my love, my love. Damn right I wanna see you again, but I'm not ready for no love affair. Still you ask me what is happening, when I told you that my heart wasn't there. I handle business on the weekday, but you can have me on the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you wanna be my weekend lover, it's gonna be hard to leave. Take it from me, from me, from me. Take it from me, from me, from me. If you wanna be my weekend lover, it's gonna be hard to leave. Take it from me, from me, from me. Gonna be hard. Take it from me, from me, from me. Oh. Damn right I wanna see you again, but I'm not ready for no love affair. And still you ask me what is happening, when I told you that my heart wasn't there. I handle business on the weekday, but you can have me on the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you wanna be my weekend lover, it's gonna be hard to wait. Take it from me, baby. Take it from me, take it from me, take it from me, baby. If you wanna be my weekend lover, it's gonna be hard to leave. Don't wanna leave me alone. From me, from me. Take it from me, from me, from me. Oh.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Karen, the Connector, and we are live here on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. And we have a great show planned for you all today, something totally different outside of what I usually talk about. Usually I'm talking about community, women's issues, health issues, but today we're going to talk about the men. You know what I mean? They deserve some attention. You know, we just got through Valentine's Day. They did us right for Valentine's Day, gave us all the gifts and all the love and showed the care and concern and all the things. So what we're going to talk about today is what men don't want to say out loud. And you can flip that whichever way you want to, what men don't want to say, what we don't want to, let go, or what we don't want to, that sort of thing. And I just thought that was a great topic. I was just kind of researching different topics I could talk to regarding to men.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important because sometimes we thinking men thinking a certain way because they didn't say a certain thing, and I just thought it'd be good to talk about what they just don't want to say out loud, that they just don't feel like they can say, that they they're allowed to say. So I brought a special guest in today with me, a dear friend of mine, Corey Thomas. Me and him are colleagues, business partners, all the things. And I know he likes to talk about relationships. So let me give y'all a little bit about Corey. So we have Mr. Corey Thomas. What next, Corey Thomas? Yeah. Oh, yeah. What next? Put the head up. A disabled veteran, entrepreneur, and mindset strategist, transforming how teens and young adults and adults think, lead, and win through neurolinguistic programming. That word in there. Programming and purpose-driven workforce training. He's helping the next generation rewire their mindset and unlock their highest growth potential. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Corey Thomas to the KTC show.
Hey.
Hello. So,
Karen.
So Corey, what do you think about the subject we're about to talk about today?
First of all, let me give you a shout out and saying thank you. I know you've been talking about me coming on the show for a long time. And I'm finally here.
Yes.
Because I really wanted to come here and have a true message to talk to the people about, especially, your audience, the women of Douglasville, the men of Douglasville, and also just the people of Atlanta. So, Karen, yes, I'm officially here.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's get this party started.
Not going to be your last time, too. I have a feeling you're going to come back again. So, listen, many men are taught to suppress emotions and handle it. They may be struggling with stress and depression or anxiety, but feel like they can't show their weakness. And I think that's an issue. And I think that's why there's maybe such a disconnect between men and women, especially in relationships, friendships, even like business relationships. And I think that, sometimes they can't show their emotion, their weakness. And sometimes silence isn't strength. It's just like survival. So, Corey, what do you have to say about that?
Oh, boy, let's tap into this. Let's get right in and just say it's because, us as men, we wear a title. Okay. And in this title, we have been it's been driven in us that we're supposed to be providers. We're supposed to be the ones who come in and solve problems.
Yeah.
But that's not true today. Today, we're going through a real identity crisis as men. Nothing belongs to us anymore. Everybody wants to share all of our responsibilities except when it comes to the bills.
You came in strong.
Yeah.
He came in strong, sunshine.
They want to share all the responsibilities except when it comes to the bills.
Okay, so the next topic was pressure to provide. Men often feel like their value is tied to money, success, or stability, and failure to lead, job stress, feeling inadequate if they can't provide, financial pressure they don't talk about. Do you think that's true?
I think it's very true. Let me ask you a question, Karen.
Okay.
If I said to you, I want to be in a relationship with you.
Okay.
I want you to pay the bills and I want to stay at home. What would you say?
I would say, you don't have to stay at home.
Why not?
Because
I want to be taken care of.
You want to be taken care of, and that's
Absolutely
fine. So if you feel the need that you need to stay at home, that's fine.
Would you stay in that relationship?
Like
I need you to be honest right now.
Because I'm not everybody.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I was in a relationship where I was like, listen, do what you need to do.
Okay.
To get to where you need to be. You know what I mean? I'll allow you to figure this out while I'll hold things down when I need to hold things down. So I'm very unique. And I'll say hello. But there are some women who feel like, okay, listen, I wanted to marry a provider. And when you enter into these relationships and you get to know someone, that needs to be established, right?
Exactly.
Whether you're going to go for it or not, it might sound good in the beginning.
Yeah.
It might like, this is a beautiful woman. She takes care of her home well. She's very smart. She wants to bear my children. I'll take care of her. I'll do what I need to do for her to make a house a home. Right. Take care of these kids. Keep this house clean. Make sure I have a nice meal on the table.
Okay.
I can entertain my friends when I want to. They come to the house to a beautiful home. I'm going to take care of her. So that's a decision that you all need to make before you enter into these relationships with these women who want to be taken care of. And no bones about it. I would love to be taken care of. I would love to be in a relationship where I could just stay at home and focus on my house.
Your feminine
not-
energy.
Right. And
Come
not
on.
have to look at a bill and not have to look at, call somebody to come fix something
Mm-hmm.
and not have to call the lawn guy
Yeah.
or not have to worry about the sink isn't leaking. I would love that. But the reality is we're not living in that type of economy anymore to where I can expect that. Now, I can look for it and pray that I find it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, some women, they expect that. They grew up like that. Their mothers were taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Their mothers were provided for.
Mm-hmm.
Their mothers, all they had to do was take care of them and make sure they got to school on time and their kids' clothes were clean. So some women grew up like that, and that's what they expect. And you
Right.
can't fault anyone for expecting that. You can't.
Well, do you look at us as now going through a true identity crisis in understanding what roles really look like in a relationship today?
I'm not sure. I don't know how to answer that question because the thing about it is everybody can provide something different. Everybody wants something different. So it's saying there's an identity crisis is one thing, but I do feel like, yes, there's a thing going on to where you do have a lot of women who are carrying this masculine energy because of the roles that they had to take on as wives and as women. So, in my case, I feel like I did bring a certain boss type energy because I have to be the boss all the time and I have to lead all the time. So sometimes it was hard for me to shut off that boss type mentality in my home, but I always made sure I had a level of respect for my ex-husband. I always made sure that, he felt as though I tried to, felt as though, you the man, whatever. But at the same time, I was doing manly things like paying the bills or making sure this happened or make sure that happened. So I kind of morphed into like a limbo of trying to be feminine, trying to be taken care of, but it just, and it happened as much as it possibly could, but at the end of the day, yeah.
When you look at it and you say to be a provider, there's a lot of things that come with being a provider, especially as a man, working, going to work every day. And sometimes we get labeled as, you know what, you ain't doing nothing but paying the bills. Do you know how hard paying the goddamn bills is? But do you really know how hard paying the bills is? Do you know what comes with paying the bills? That's not just I go to work and, I'm just going to get a check. I have to put up with all the BS that comes with being a Black man that's working for a company. And even if I own my own business, I have to be in a position to where I'm worried about how many other people, or can I even make payroll this month because of the ups and the downs as being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So when we start talking about just that stress alone, sometimes when we come in, there are 3 things that we really want to focus on. We want to focus on peace, we want to focus on pleasure, and we want to focus on power.
You're saying generally that's what men want to focus on.
That's what we need. That's what we need to stay in the fight. That's what we need to keep refueling our tank so that we can actually continue to
Do you feel like
be
you're
a
talking
provider.
about all men though?
I feel like I'm talking to men of God who understand what their roles are. There's a lot of men out here that I must say, that has not been raised properly by a man and by a woman. So when you start to look at a man who has not, a young boy who has not been raised properly, we're running into all those challenges that they have.
Yeah, because they don't want the same things.
They don't want the same things.
Yeah, and they're not giving the same things either.
And you look at the young men today. These men, these YNs that we got out here today, cold-hearted. They really don't care about relationships as we used to care about relationships back in the day. I think our generation right now is the only generation that's out there that focused on what our grandmother did for us, what our mothers did.
I think
for
we're the
us.
last generation.
We're probably the last generation.
Yeah, but I do feel
that's
like
gonna happen.
that right now. I want to say my daughter's age, my daughter's about to be 25, so
Yeah.
I would say like the 25 to maybe 30.
Okay.
They are looking at I think they're morphing into that. I do.
Morphing into what?
Getting out of that cold-heartedness and wanting to be with any old body and wanting something more than just a.
But why are they morphing into that?
Because they probably did all that stuff so much so at such a young age.
They're emotionally drained.
They're emotionally drained. But listen, we is only supposed to be scratching the surface right now. But you know, Corey came in hot, but we about to tune it down a little bit. Listen, and we're gonna go to a commercial and play a song or two. And we're gonna get back into this conversation because obviously this is a conversation that need to be had. Me and Corey have never talked about this before, so y'all getting a raw interaction between two grown ass man and woman.
You got that right.
Corey's divorced. You're divorced?
Yeah.
I'm divorced. You know what I mean? We're in the same age bracket, so we kind of
Same age bracket.
So we kind of could see we could talk about this very fruitfully.
Yes.
Fruitfully. You know what I'm saying? So we'll get back here on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. We'll be right back.
I wanna be you. I wanna be in your skin. Yeah, I'm attached by them clingy and shit. Just the way you like it. I don't need no space. I put it all in your face. Just the way you like it. Sun on my shadow street. Coming at the same time. Ooh, I don't need the world, hell no. Just you and me. I wanna be in your skin. I feel heaven within. Every step, every spin. I wanna be in your skin. Your breath, my air, your touch, my brain. I wanna be in your skin. Feel the world from within. We chase the call, but it's still waiting no time with you under the covers. Every time you kiss me, I'm out. You lose track of time. We so alive, feel the sun on my shadow street. Coming at the same time. Ooh, I don't need the world, hell no. Just you and me. I wanna be in your skin. I feel heaven within. Every step, every spin. I wanna be in your skin. Your breath, my air, your touch, my brain. I wanna be in your skin. Feel the world from within. No, I wanna be in your skin. You don't need no words to speak to me. Your touch feel like poetry. Every time you touch my body, I get healing. Your breath, my air, your touch, my brain. I wanna be in your skin. Feel the world from within. You don't need no words to speak to me. Your body feel like poetry. Every time you touch me, I wanna be in your skin.
Hey, the secret's out. Hits 92.3 is now accepting submissions for brand new shows. That's right, you could become a radio personality right here on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. You don't have experience? That's okay. You don't live in Georgia? That's okay. You don't know what to do now? Now that's not okay. But your girl is here to help you out. Email us today at hits923newshow@gmail.com and tell us about your potential show with Hits. Again, that email address is hits923newshow@gmail.com. Don't be last. The slots are filling fast.
Damn, I got my hands around your waist while you winding up a body. It's the way you throwing it back, got me stuck in the days like, oh my God. You really got me wanting more. Your smile is what I truly adore. Come closer, let me show you what you're missing. Your lips is the first thing I'm kissing. You're my fantasy, I can't deny. Oh, the way we dance, it feels you right. Bring that ass a little bit closer. I'ma give you the steps you need tonight. I wanna see your freaky side. I'ma do what a man came to do. All you gotta do is please me, baby. I promise I'll be all you need. Damn, I'm at home by myself and I can't get you off of my mind. All I can remember from the night is the way that we made love. You really got me wanting more. Your smile is what I truly adore. Come closer, let me show you what you're missing. Your lips is the first thing I'm kissing. You're my fantasy, I can't deny. Ooh, the way we dance, it feels so right. Bring that ass a little bit closer. I'ma give you the steps you need tonight. Step one, I wanna see your freaky side. Step two, I'ma do what a man came to do. Step three, all you gotta do is please me, baby. I promise I'll be all you need.
All right, we are back here live on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio.
We back.
We are here. I am here every Thursday from 2 to 4 talking about what you've been looking for. So make sure you tune in every Thursday here on the KTC show. And today we have a special guest, Corey Thomas, and we are talking about a very, what I'm thinking that was a delicate subject here.
Very delicate.
Talking about what men don't want to say, what they think they can't say, all the things that come with that. So we gave you guys a great intro. If you're just joining us now, you can always watch the replay, rewind. But now we're going to move into another subject, and it's on providing and how men feel about the pressure to provide and what comes along with that. And it's weird because even as I'm talking about it, I'm thinking about myself and I'm thinking about me as a woman and how, especially now, I'm newly divorced. So I'm a provider and all the pressures that I have to provide. But I know there is a different aspect of it when it comes from a man. So,
yeah.
So Corey, can you talk about a little bit about that and let the listeners know, the men and women here, about the pressures to provide and what comes with that?
The pressure to provide, and we were talking about how somebody would say to a man or, your significant other or your wife or whatever, the only thing you do is pay bills. And I'm re-emphasizing, paying bills is not easy. There's a lot of stress that comes with just being able to get up, go to work every day, and not just go to work every day, put everybody before yourself. I had a kid at the age of 16, and by having a kid at the age of 16, there was a lot of times I just wanted to go out and just have fun, but I had to now think about, how am I going to get insurance for my kid. Being in the military, and I never shared this when we started talking earlier, I did 23 years in the military.
I knew that though.
One of those reasons was because of the fact that insurance is huge.
Oh, yeah.
And do you know how much they're charging for insurance right now for a person not being in the military?
Hello.
Oh
I
my
know.
God, it's
I know.
ridiculous.
I know.
And I'm out here now, I'm seeing, as I've retired, I started seeing more of the civilian side of what a lot of the men and the women are going through. But I'm gonna specifically talk about men right now because that's what the show is about.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you going to work, working your butt off. Most entry-level jobs is gonna start you out between 14 to probably 18 bucks an hour.
Right.
Then they're talking about your insurance. Then the taxes has gotten very high. Then we start talking about how your significant other or how women even look at you. A man, he's not even welcomed into a positive atmosphere if he don't carry a certain image, if he don't carry a certain level of confidence when he walk in the room. And for us to get that, it takes money.
Well, I beg to differ. And I don't mean to, I'm not saying I disagree, because in some cases that's the truth. But the thing about relationships, especially when you have a family, now, when you're a father, and especially if you're not married to the mother and you're on your own, okay, whatever. But when you're in a household and you're in the relationship with a woman and all you are doing is providing, that's all you're gonna get expected of.
You don't think that's enough?
Listen, that's not enough.
What else do we
I'm
need
just saying, if you only want to be looked at as a provider, and then that's what you're gonna get.
Right.
If you're not providing like relationship,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You know how you build a relationship with somebody?
Right.
So imagine if you built a relationship with a woman and you and her were so in tune, so in an emotional relationship.
Right.
You were her friend, you were her
Right.
confidant.
Right.
You know what I mean? You were somebody she could come to talk to,
Right.
come to lean on,
Right.
come to be intimate with, and just depend on as a man, like as a friend in a relationship.
Mhm.
She's not gonna only look at you as a provider.
Okay.
She's gonna be like, okay, babe, okay, you ain't got it this week, or something's going on at your job, whatever, or you didn't get the hours you wanted to get. It's okay, because she's gonna have that type of relationship only if you build that with her. She's not only gonna look at you as a provider.
No, when you start looking at how women are, what we look for in women in our relationship, we look for them as a support system. Would you agree with that?
Right.
Okay, so if we're looking for them as a support system, and at the same time, a lot of women that we're dealing with right now are going through, men and women are going through deep-rooted trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And in deep-rooted trauma, these are things that happen between you and your mom, things that happen between you and your father, if your father was in your life. A lot of these women didn't even have dads that was very consistent in their lives. And so here it is, when you start now having to weigh on, I have to now try my best to communicate effectively with you on how to get the right type of help for your deep-rooted trauma. That's different. We're not talking about regular trauma here. We're talking about something that goes deeper than just
like
going to a therapist.
All the things like daddy issues, mommy issues. All
This
the
stuff has to be unpacked a certain type of way.
I know, but I feel like you're saying, and I will say that this is a true thing. Like, I see a lot of men just be looked at as just a money man or whatever,
Right.
and they only go to when they're on, even from their children.
Right.
They only are going to when they need something, and even as the children get older, they still look as just a money man or whatever.
Right.
But I feel as though that's because there was no other relationship implemented with that.
What do you mean by that?
So okay, so if all I'm giving you is, if all you are is a provider, you paying the bills, but at nighttime I can't find out where.
Can I elaborate on provider real quick? Provider basically means I am here to provide you a safe place, a safe environment for you to do whatever you need to do to support our household.
Mm-hmm.
To support our household mentally. When you're talking about supporting me mentally,
Mm-hmm.
in so many different ways, because when we talk about the fear of failure,
Mm-hmm.
y'all wouldn't believe this, but men all the time think about, I hate divorce.
Yeah.
Most men are terrified of divorce.
Right. I
Because
believe it.
Here it is again. We lose one of the things that we value the most. What is that? Money. because we know that if you don't have money, and I'm being honest here, if you don't have money, it is a very difficult world to live in
For anyone.
for anyone.
Right.
So when we start talking about you need to make money to be able to feel a certain type of way, or to create a safe environment for your family or for your significant other, it's a lot that comes with that. And if you start looking at me, looking at how you may look at me and say, you know what, my man, he just ain't doing it for me. Do you know what type of feeling that is as a man? That's an ego blow.
I get it, but I think it's so much more to that's being missed. And
Like what?
Like like you're thinking about I just think that when relationship is involved,
Right.
and think about it, and those times when you've seen these situations happen, I'm pretty sure you've seen other relationships, maybe past relationships that you have had.
Okay.
Think about the relationship that you had with that woman,
Okay.
and think about when you were looked at as just a money man.
Okay.
Okay. Think about how you felt about her. Think about what she felt about you, and how y'all interacted and what y'all did. You know what I mean? Was it transactional? Was it what? I think if
You don't think most relationships are transactional?
I think I think the basic relationship. Okay, you do for me, I'm gonna do for you. You know,
My point exactly.
Hello, but right, but I'm just saying, if you got a woman that's loving on you, she's understanding you,
Okay.
she's giving you what you need,
Right.
and then you're providing for her. You know
It's
what I mean?
a win-win.
Right. So you should feel secure in that woman, that if something happens on the job stress, baby, let me
Yeah.
tell you what happened at work. So you're not going to feel like you're just providing money when you could talk to her about what happened at work. You're not going to feel like you are just a money man when you could tell her how, you know, you got rolled up at work and you might lose
Right.
your job, and she might have to go find another. She's going to be like, you know what, baby, I got this. You know, I actually just took a class, was thinking about taking a class. La, 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 la. You know what I mean? So I just feel it's more relationship. And I think that when you are a man that's leading with your money,
Yeah.
that's what you're going to get.
Okay, so let's talk about.
But if you
a
lead
man-
with empathy and emotional support, and you're providing the home, you're going to get that woman that's like, she's going to be down, she's going to do whatever. And I think that it's like a 50-50, but I think that some men don't see there's a reason why you were looked at just as a money man, and just as like a provider, and not as a friend, a husband, a confidant, and all the things that you want to be looked at.
Okay.
I just feel like there's reasons for that. And sometimes it could be the woman just being selfish and me. But at the same time, if you always treated her like it was her, and then now you got some shit going on where you need to be looked upon,
Right.
you can't follow her, because all of this time you was focusing on her and not even requiring her to focus on you and getting that mutual relationship. And now you're looking at yourself like, oh, now I'm just a provider. Now you're looking at, well, that's how you live with it.
I think we're missing the point on what provision is all about. We're not just a provider. Yeah, you're right. It's not just attached
Charlene
to
said,
money.
pour into your family as you want your family to pour into you. Family you created. Being a provider financially is awesome, but so many are missing a provider mentality and physically in the home. I get that.
No, I do believe that there's a lot of men out here.
Thank you, Charlene.
Who are truly don't have the skills to teach their family how to effectively communicate.
True.
And I do believe that there is especially when you look at a lot of our men today, especially men that have been raised in a single parent household, they're emotionally unstable. And when I say emotionally unstable, that means they throwing more temper tantrums than you are.
Hello.
Now, when you're talking to a man like me, first coming out, I was very, very aggressive, very abusive in my relationship. So I was mentally unstable to be able to be in a relationship. Somebody should have pulled me aside and said, why in the hell are you getting married at the age of 19? What is going on with you? You're not even ready to be married. But us as young men were marrying for the wrong reason. And in the military, you always marry for the wrong reason.
Or stability. You wanted to give
You
stability.
want more money.
Uh-huh.
So I'm saying this, and I would leave, a lot of people with this. Men, we're in a very, very challenging place when it comes to the title that we've been given as a provider. It's very, very challenging. And even a lot of women out there today is going through this phase where they're the providers now. When they become single parents, they become providers, and they start seeing the other side of what we used to go through. And you know what it's doing to our women today? It's totally stressing them out. These women today are now taking more medication than they've ever taken in their life, or finding ways as an outlet to be able to just cope, because being a single mother is very, very challenging. In a relationship, it takes two. It really does take two to contribute the way that they need to make sure that they're creating a healthy space for our kids. And just now understanding what that pressure looks like, Black families, we do have to learn how to communicate a
I
lot
think
more.
all families. We're talking to everybody.
Well, we are talking to everybody, but when
in
you
our
start
case,
when
yeah.
you start looking at our generation and our culture, we're not doing the same thing as other cultures.
No, we're not.
We're one of the only cultures that really stand behind an independent woman.
Kenneth Reed said, "Effective communication is key."
It's very much key.
Yeah.
And thank you, Kenneth.
And I think that's, like you said, I think that's a big thing that we need to hone in on with our children is communication, because a lot of what we're seeing today with this domestic violence for these young boys, hurting these young girls, I just think they don't know how to communicate.
Well, let me say this now. More girls are hurting boys today.
Oh yeah, they're fighting back.
These girls
they're
have taken on a true different type of masculinity.
They're rough, and I see it too. But I'm just saying that men are loved under the conditions of what they can provide.
Men are loved under the conditions of what
we
they can
talked about
provide.
that already. Ken, you want to rewind because I believe so. I do believe so. I do believe men are at times. I mean, and then sometimes,
True, bro.
Okay, so listen to me. As a woman, there have been times when I was like, dang. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even, I gotta do all of this, all of that, But
so you start judging them, right?
Not judging, but feeling some type of way.
Okay, well,
just feeling a certain different way.
Okay, now let me ask you
Not
this.
that I love him any different, but I did feel like, dang.
Did you ever feel like, what? You don't even deserve sex for what you're doing for me right now. Did you ever feel like that?
I ain't never
we got women now will look at their man and say, you know what? You don't even deserve sex in this household. And you married me and you don't even deserve.
But see, that's not the type of woman. See, the thing about it is okay, so I think that y'all choosing the wrong women.
Are we choosing the wrong women?
Or y'all not communicating effectively in these relationships, because I just feel like when you have certain things in a relationship, you're not going to get that pushback. You're not going to feel that. Now, we might think in a way like, dang, I got paid the mortgage again for this. But at the same time, I still might, if you got a woman who really loves you, she's going to make sure you feel comfortable and make sure you get to where you need to be so you can get back to doing what you were doing before. You know what I mean? But if you got the wrong woman, you just got the wrong one.
Let me ask you this, Dan. You're right about that. So my question would be, who's teaching our young girls how to be women of God and how to be very supportive wives if they're in a relationship? Where's the role model for that one?
Come on, sunshine.
Yes.
Our mothers told us stop doing it.
Exactly. They said stop doing it because some of these mothers got caught in that independent woman movement.
Our grandmothers told us the same thing.
But you got to understand, your grandmothers were married for a long period. They stayed with their husband through thick and thin.
No, they stayed with their husbands because they had no
they got
opportunities and they had no resources to do anything else. So once women had the chances to be able to survive on their own without the resources of their husbands or having to be under the thumb of their husbands and the rule, our grandmothers and our mothers told us to slow down, choose better, make better choices and decisions. Don't rush into relationships. If you don't like the relationship that you're in and you're unhappy, leave.
I think
We're doing what our predecessors told us to do.
Let me ask you this then. What do you think the other cultures are telling their families?
They're teaching their men how to be in relationships with their children, with their daughters, and how to be providers or how to whatever. This is the only group of people who are arguing about the role of the people in the relationship.
Exactly. And
I mean, you're saying exactly, but you're you're doing the exact same thing. You're perpetrating the same exact argument. You're like, it's things like women are just leaving because a man isn't a provider no more. No, women are leaving because they're not heard, they're not loved, they're not taken care of. They're seen only as a submissive, or only as something to be seen, not heard. They're
That's what I was
treated
saying
like
too.
children. They're treated as if they are only as if they're only objects, as if they're only as good as how they cook and clean. Nothing that you said about a man being with a woman had anything to do with her agency. It had everything to do with how she services you and how she services the household. It had nothing to do with who she is as a person, as an individual, how she thinks, how she's trying
that's what I
to
was try-
how
so-
she's trying to grow. It had everything to do with how she takes care of her kids, and how she puts food in your belly, and how she cleans up your drawers off the floor.
Okay, so let me elaborate on that part. And thank you for sharing that. Here's what we totally have to understand about role clarity. There's no standards to what those roles look like anymore. Not for the Black community. We don't have the standards of what those roles really look like and what they feel like, because as a man, if I came, and I said this to Karen earlier, if I came to you and said, hey, I just want to be a stay-home dad while we raise our family, I want you to be a provider, I think a woman would probably look at me and say, that's normally not how it's supposed to work.
But if it makes sense,
If
Right.
it makes sense, but
But
that's
the
only
question
for-
also is, okay, so now you're staying at home, right?
right?
And you are the stay-at-home father. I'm at home. I'm at work all the time.
Right.
I'm bringing home the bacon,
Right.
right? So when I come home, do you rub my feet?
Absolutely.
But see, that's the thing. You're saying absolutely.
No, I'm
but-
saying what I would actually do.
And
because
I'm
I've been a
but I,
stay-at-home dad
but I'm
before.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
said,
on
"Don't
your
say we sit around
agency,
women
you're
together."
saying that. But in the majority of situations, that's not what's going to be the
So let
deal.
me tell you about what I did when I was a stay-home dad. For a period of time, I actually got out of the military because I was going through a transition. I picked the kid up from the bus stop. I made sure the kid did his homework. I made sure that house was clean. Even though I probably played around all day, before she walked in that door, I made sure that house was straight, so that when she came in, if she chose to cook, she would say, hey, take this food out so I can cook. I made sure I did everything, so when she came in the house, she had nothing to worry about. She only had to worry about to decompress. When she walked in, I want you to decompress, and I want me to support you for everything that you need. Now, that was my role as a man.
well, Quiana Davis said, if we quit arguing about the roles and focus on the reconstruction that is healthy, we can accomplish more. And I agree, but because
How can we get to there if we don't understand the role?
but listen, but I don't feel like we shouldn't focus on roles.
We
I don't. I
where do
really
we
don't.
start at?
I mean,
You gotta have some standard
okay,
in
so
place.
okay, yeah. All I think that the one thing I can say is you a man and I'm a woman,
Right.
right? But I think that
What does that mean?
I just think that we shouldn't focus on this is what you're
What does
supposed
it
to do.
mean?
That means you a man. You
Okay,
better
so
do.
what does it mean?
Do manly things.
Okay, so what is manly thing? Is that a role?
No,
What is it?
doing what men.
No. I'm
Okay.
asking you, is it
Listen,
a role?
it's okay. All I'm saying is, I think roles can change. But what I was
Roles
saying,
can change.
okay, but what I'm saying is on to piggyback or to come back under what Sunshine said, that if we are looked at differently, if there's a relationship established,
Yeah.
right, and more than just me cooking and cleaning, and you providing and working and doing all the things, and we have more substance to our relationship that's deeper than that, I think that there wouldn't be much of a problem between all of these roles. And like you said, I think that if we go on teaching our children how to communicate better, we can kind of pass on a generation of better relationship building,
Oh.
and choosing the right mate,
Okay.
and building that friendship before you get married and before you
So-
jump into
so
living
Karen,
with someone and getting married and
here's
all the
why,
things.
Here's where I need your help at. Here's where men, all men are asking this question right here. And women, we love you all. We love you. We want a relationship. We want a wife. But the question is, where do we meet in the middle? And somebody asked the question about reconstruction. How can you reconstruct something without blueprints? How can you rebuild something without a plan?
But why does there need to be why can't we just build on our?
Because you won't have a strong
but
foundation.
The thing about it is what you want out of a relationship may be totally different than what other man wants. Now, if there's a blueprint, then you got to follow this blueprint, and you can't allow yourself to be
We
free
just need
with
a
that
foundation.
person.
Would you agree we need a foundation?
I think there needs to be a foundation.
Okay, now
But
would you agree
the
to
foundation, like I think one foundation that everybody's relationship should be on is their faith. Their
Okay,
faith in God.
so let's talk about faith in God.
And
If they start putting God in the Bible in this, it will totally throw everything off, because when you look at most men that were in the Bible, they had concubines. They had people that they were.
But we aren't talking about that part.
We ain't talking about that.
We don't leave that part.
But
But
we
about
don't-
that.
but
No, I'm just kidding. No, we need. I mean, I'm just saying. Okay, how about this? Not the Bible and not that. Just your faith.
Let me ask you this: what is a man of God? What is his role as a man of God?
Listen here. What do you think it is? Golly.
When we start looking at a man of God and when we start looking at a woman of God, we have certain responsibilities that we should be responsible for to make sure that we are providing a safe and healthy space. As a man, listen, I don't mind. I've never been a man who complained about providing. You know what I always complained about? I complained about peace. You know what else I complained about? I complained about pleasure. Those are the things that I complained about.
I know, but why wouldn't you? Okay, you got to ask yourself the question: why would a woman you're providing for not want to give you peace? Why would the woman you chose to provide for not want to give you peace? That's you. That's the decision you made on the woman you chose. That's how I feel. Because if I know I got money to provide for a woman, I'm gonna make sure she's a woman that's gonna be peaceful for me. She's a woman who I'm gonna be able to confide in. I'm gonna have fun with. She's gonna be able to. I'm gonna have pleasure with her and all the things. I'm not just gonna jump into providing for a woman that I can't depend on to help me, have a peaceful life, a peaceful home, and the pleasures that I desire.
So let me tell you why you can't have peace. Remember when I talked to you about deep-rooted trauma?
Mm-hmm.
When you get into a relationship, that stuff happens. That deep-rooted trauma starts to surface. As soon as you be in a relationship, after you pass the honeymoon phase, you go through a different phase of struggle, and you go through a phase of, who am I now?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to figure out who I am in this relationship.
And then people evolve. But Cleanna Davis, I want to acknowledge these comments.
Go ahead.
Times are different. It's time to use emotional intelligence,
Absolutely.
therapy, and actually address the fact that many men hate women and some women hate men. But we're all still engaging.
We don't hate you, baby.
We all are still but we are all still engaging with one another. We can't build off brokenness. It's toxic.
Yeah, but please tell me this. Where do we start? Y'all keep giving me all these, hey, we have to do this, we have to do that. You can't start without rebuilding a strong foundation. And the Black community, and I'm only speaking about the Black community because we're the only ones who have been systematically broken. And because we're systematically broken, you now have to somewhat change the system or rewire your way of thinking to be able to rebuild our families. Okay. And there's a lot of men right now, I will say, I have these conversations in my groups. There are men who really want, and these young men, they really want to rebuild their families, but they don't understand a couple of things. They don't understand what emotional intelligence really looks like and what it feels like. And they don't even have the time sometimes to even get the proper training or the proper counseling that they need to be able to reset their way of thinking. When you heard about me talking about neuro-linguistic programming,
Yeah,
you know why I took
that word in there.
You know why I took neuro-linguistic programming? It's because it taught me how to unpack that deep-rooted trauma that I had from being an abusive man, from being a toxic man.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I went through that training, you know how much that training cost me? That training cost me over $8,000 to take that training. How many of us gonna invest in ourselves that way?
No, I'm just gonna pray about it.
Yeah, and that's the truth.
No, but I think that because you did that, you would need to. I mean, are you single right now?
Yeah.
You're single.
Yeah.
So the woman you date next would have to have that same type of clarity and healedness. I mean, whether she went through trauma or not, you're gonna have to find somebody who's able to relate to that. But Quiana Davis, I like what she's saying. I like your comments, Quiana. We need to seek help outside of the Bible and religion.
Very true.
And get professional help, qualified professionals who are skilled, trained, and educated to help work through trauma. Resentment is at an all-time high. And
Kiana, deep-rooted trauma. We're not just talking about trauma here. We're talking about something that's very, very specific. Deep-rooted trauma. And if you don't,
way of thinking.
if we don't rewire our whole culture, we're going to keep falling into the same trap. I am a man who has been married 4 times. I'm not afraid of marriage. I'm not afraid of being a provider.
Corey?
But the problem, don't go there yet. Don't go there yet. But the problem with being a provider is this right here. It's just that sometimes we do feel empty. Sometimes we do run out of gas. And if you don't know how to refuel our tank so that we can keep going, we reach outside of the household. That's what happens. We go somewhere else to refuel our tank. I don't care if it's a person just telling me how much, how proud of me or how much I feel. Some of the things that my mother and my father didn't tell me as a kid, it starts to resurface. That's why I talk about us going through our own identity crisis and that deep-rooted trauma, because as we go through that process, there are some things that you may not know what to say and how to get me back. So I'm here. I'm here to say, men and women, she is right we have to reset. I took a course to teach us how to reset. I now teach people how to reset the way that they think, because if we don't, we're going to keep having the same debate and not get anywhere.
Well, you know what? I'm going to put an end to that conversation. And we're going to talk about that again on another day, but we're going to go into something else. But we're going to take a quick break and play a few songs and a few commercials and morph into the fear of vulnerability. That's what we're going to talk about next. So stay tuned. I'm here with Corey Thomas, and he got a lot to say about this subject. He came in hot, boy. I mean, this is a conversation that needs to be had. This is not about roles and who does what, who needs to do what. This is not a role conversation. This is a real conversation about what men think, what they feel, what they think they can't say, and just things of that nature. So let's talk about it. And we'll be right back here on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio.
My name is Joey H. This is the headband, and this is our submission for Tiny Desk. This song is called Tour Bus, and I wrote this about taking this all over the world and where music can take us. Tricked out my tour bus, tricked out my tour bus. I tricked out my tour bus, tricked out my tour bus. I tricked out my tour bus. I tricked out my tour bus, tricked out my tour bus. Tricked out, tricked out, tricked out. I tricked out, I tricked out, I tricked out. I tricked out, I tricked out, I tricked out. Yeah. Darren Ryan Shoddy, I dare someone to stop me. Dare someone to jump and I throw it home. Spinning full of winners, hit the map on my mobile phone. Paradise the extra, we can stop cause we very close. Shaking hands with a fan on the west coast. They ask, am I nervous and for rap what I want most? Anxiously, I smile and laugh. Try to think about an answer. It's basically like, I want it all. I need the rain to flee. Been under dark clouds so much it's been a pain to see. Patient, but I'm 28. I'm pacing around the question. Bro, I need some payments, G, back to it. I'm like, man, I just wanna live. Show the world to my girl and our future kids. So I'm on road, got a show to kill, moves to make. He bought a tea and said, good luck, I know you're making life. Checked out my tour bus. I checked out my tour bus. I checked out my tour bus. I checked out my tour bus. Checked out my tour bus. Checked out, checked out, checked out. I checked out, I checked out, I checked out. I checked out. Woo! True story. Aaron. Started this record back in 17. Rapping about everything I never seen. Tried to write it down so I could make it happen. Now me and Mike on flights to Denver for the tour of madness. Now that is magic. Should've stayed with all is possible. So watch your every move. It's only right, I gotta prove. Believe it's right. I mean, there's people with OTs from my 40 days of sleep of faith. Started with these writings just to formulate a better life for me and mine. It's been a cloud, but we still going. Thankful for every moment. Glad we make it every morning. Now we rewarded for the free shows we prayed on. These C notes, one dive in my wallet like free throws. I prayed for this. Now this time here, feel like the greatest gift. Years later, we still singing the same. Taking risks, catalogs and passion. And remember when we happened to trick out my tour bus. Tricked out my tour bus. Tricked out my tour bus. Tricked out my tour bus. Yeah. Tricked out my tour bus. 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 Let's rock. Tricked out my tour bus. Tricked out. I tricked out. Tour bus. I tricked out my tour bus. I tricked out. I tricked out my tour bus. Tricked out. Tricked out. Tricked out. I 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 tricked out. Woo! Tricked out my tour bus. I tricked out my tour bus. Tricked out my tour bus. I tricked out my tour bus. I tricked out my tour bus. Thank you.
Back here live on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. This is Karen the Connector, and I'm here every Thursday from 2 to 4 talking about what you've been looking for. And I don't know if you were looking for this today, but here we are. Talking to Corey Thomas about what men don't want to say, what they think they can't say, how they feel, how they don't feel, and all the things that come with that. And Corey came in here hot.
Yeah.
This was not
Ain't no other way.
rehearsed.
Not at all.
This was not rehearsed. So I'm really I really think this is a great conversation
I think
that everyone needs to have. No, and we're not focusing on gender roles and things like of that nature. I don't want this to be a male bashing or woman bashing thing. This is a conversation about just how y'all feel. I mean, a real perspective of what a man feels in relationships as far as being a provider, how he feels as a man, and all the things. And right now we're going to go into fear of vulnerability. If you're just tuning in right now, you can watch the replay on YouTube. You can go to Karen the Connector, Hits 92.3. The live video will be on my Facebook page. And also, if you are tuning in from the Women of Douglasville, hey y'all, here we go. So we're going to move into fear of vulnerability.
Yes.
Times where you wanted to feel vulnerable with your mate, or just with anyone, with your family, with your coworkers, or whatever your you know what I mean? And let's just talk a little bit about that. It's about a man wanting to feel vulnerable, but he feels like maybe you can't. And can you just give me an example of times when you felt that way?
Yeah, I can tell you I felt that way often. But here's the deal. Men, you cannot be vulnerable to someone who really does not understand how to protect your feelings and the information that you're sharing with them. If they don't know how to protect that and you think that they're going to use that against you, you should not be as vulnerable as you should be. You need to man up, and you need to go talk to a therapist, and you need to go talk to someone that can really help you. Because when you're sharing your vulnerability with majority of our women who are emotionally driven, they're just biologically built that way. They don't know what to respond with in certain situations if you're being too vulnerable. So let me give you a scenario. I'm a big advocate of, I don't believe in breaking up my household. I don't believe in a family separating because of They just don't understand how to get along. Sometimes, communication is learned over a period of time. And who suffers the most when you start looking at separation, and this is where I was vulnerable at. I was vulnerable because I love my family. I loved my family. But because we couldn't communicate, I lost my family. And by losing your family, you have to look in your kid's face all the time. And nobody's around when I cried. Nobody was around when my daughter was asking me those tough questions. Daddy, why do we live over here and you live over there? Nobody's around when you really, at some point in time through a divorce, you start to lose a lot of resources and your money is going. So when you start talking about paying for attorneys and stuff like that, you cannot provide like you used to. It takes so much out of you emotionally. And it was times when I just sat in my house and I just cried. My daughter's bus used to pass by my house every day when we separated, and waving at her on that bus, because at that moment, for some strange reason, me and the mom couldn't get along, for my daughter to just get off at the stop at my house and go to her house. It just didn't happen. I cried every time I walked away from that door. But you know what? Then I had to toughen up real quick, because here it is. I know I got to pay these bills that's going on around here. I know I got to create a safe place for my daughter now to come on the weekends. I know that, people are looking at me funny. When you get a divorce, you know what? People do look at you funny when you get a divorce. They start making these little comments. Oh, why you can't stay married? What's wrong with you? Men go through that. Men go through everything and even more that women go through. But you know what happens with us men? They joke about it. They make a lot of fun, about you. And here it is. What do we do again? We go somewhere and we cry. We go let our feelings out because we don't have anybody that we can feel safe with. If we do go ahead. I'm sorry.
Golly. But Corey, I mean, I just feel like you've been through. I feel like, I don't think I remember knowing that you were married that many times, but I just feel like you have a lot of not personally, but your view on things are really about, the things that you've been through.
Absolutely.
Which is understandable.
Absolutely.
Of course. But what is a moment when you felt like you were vulnerable and it was used against you?
So
do you have an example of when that happened?
Yeah. Pillow talk after you have sex with a woman and you feel vulnerable. Most men feel vulnerable after they have sex. I'll tell you that. When we get into that pillow talk, sometimes we share some things that we should not share or we're not ready to share. And then sometimes when we just trying to have sex with a woman, we're going to say some things that we get vulnerable with because we're just trying to find a safe place. And you know what ends up happening in the long run? When she get mad at your ass, she's going to talk about you. When she leaves you or she divorces you, she's going to talk about you. She's going to share information with her friends and women. I'm going to say this, what y'all don't know. Women will get in their groups and talk about their husbands or their significant others. And those women will go back and tell their husbands, and the husbands will come back and tell us what you said. And then you wonder when we come in the house why we got an attitude or why we feeling some type of way. It's because you've been talking behind my back to your friends all day, and the man come and the husband coming back and telling me. So I mean, where do we win at when we sometimes us as men, we don't have a safe place? And if we go to therapy, yes, that's our safe place, but we're on the clock. Hey, your hour's up. You can't cry no more.
I honestly think this all boils down to because even within my relationship, my marriage, there were certain things that I didn't talk about to my friends. I may have felt a certain way. Certain things I did, probably I shouldn't share, but certain things
that's a no.
Right. No, but listen, certain things I did not and would not.
Like what? Like, let's give an example.
I'm not gonna say it on air,
okay.
But I'm just saying,
what is off limits to talk about? Let's talk about that.
I just think that I just think that if a man is being vulnerable with you and he's sharing intimate thoughts with you about, his upbringing or emotional things that he's dealing with, or him feeling a certain type of way about something, or him being inadequate in some areas. Hello.
Oh, that's
But
one of the huge ones that they talk
yeah,
about.
but I'm just saying certain things you just don't disclose. That's like something that might be embarrassing to him.
Yep.
That as a woman, no, you should not disclose. If you're in a committed relationship and you're committed to that man, no, you should not disclose those things publicly to your friends.
Absolutely not.
You know what I mean? But
Does it
at the
happen?
same time, it happens. It happens. But it's usually happens with somebody who's not in a. For me, I've noticed that happening more in somebody who's not in a committed relationship. So I'll say that yes, that does happen, and that's understandable. But I think that all goes down to the person that you're with. If you're with somebody who you think is going to act like that, like, I think we just need to be a better judgment on people's character and choosing the right person and building that connection with a person. I just feel like if you're building the right connection with your significant other, it's certain things you're not going to do to them.
But Karen, okay, you're saying
I think
if we're building a relationship with someone, but at the same time, even if you're building a relationship, what happens when they get pissed off?
That's what I'm saying.
They talk about your ass like a dog.
I'm not saying I've never been one to do that.
And you
in my
not.
mind, I might be like this.
You may have not, but we're
know what I'm
talking
saying?
about the majority right now.
Okay, we're talking about the majority, but I think that it all boils down to like being in the relationship with the right person. And I do.
What is the right person, Karen?
The person, I always say this, and I tell this to my daughters and I tell this to my son. I say, when you meet somebody, when you get old enough and you're choosing the person you want to be with for the rest of your life, make sure they are your friend first. And I know things can happen and people evolve, especially when you're young. Like I got married when I was 30, but I'm 46 right now. You know what I'm saying? So between 30 and 46, I've been like 8 different people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, girl, thank you, Ron. I've been like 8 different people. So yes. So then, if you're with a person who loves the core of you, who loves you for who you are, all these things added to you and the life changes you have, they're gonna love you through that. You know what I'm saying?
I disagree. I'm telling you, when people get ready to go through their struggle, a lot of times they get hateful towards each other. They start to talk about each other like a dog.
I just think you've been in some bad relationships, Corey.
No, I've been with some amazing people, but women and men are.
I say you've been in with some amazing people, but it could have been a bad relationship.
Oh no, no, timing was everything with my relationships. My timing was always off.
Okay.
So I know exactly where I messed up in my relationships, and I'm not gonna say I messed up. I'm saying that there were things that I wasn't educated on. My dad taught me how to be a provider. He never taught me how to be a husband. Okay, so let's get that clear. Being a provider and being a husband
are two separate things.
I
agree.
And now that we're in a society to where emotions are truly in a place where they're out of control right now, men have to be equipped with a certain level of emotional intelligence to just be able to balance things out to keep going.
Well, our next subject is loneliness, and it says many men have fewer emotional support systems than women do. And I can agree to that. I can agree that, even like the memes I share, sis, this, girl, you gonna make it. Or, you know what I mean? And woo, loose lips sink ships.
Oh, yes, it does.
That's funny, real facts. I don't even know who that is. Hello. But so I do agree that, we have all this women empowerment movement going on that's been going on for years. Yeah. And so we have groups, we have Valentine's Day, we have, girls' night and all the things. And I do see fewer of that, less of that for men. And I can't agree that men, you almost have to like truly put forth effort to create safe spaces for you and other men to be real with each other and have the support from one another. So I do agree with that. How do you feel about that? As far as like, women have this great support system as far as other women, other family members and all the things, versus a man.
I feel that, women, we do cry. Women, we are weak. It's just sad that we got to do it by ourselves. It's sad that when you sometimes wonder, why is it taking your man to get home so long? Because sometimes he's just driving around trying to figure out life. And the part where we start telling our little kids, man up, our little young boys to man up, don't cry. I think at a young age, we're trying to build a solid foundation in these kids, because if you start teaching them to cry too much, you're going to make a soft young man, a soft, and that's just a part of it. So as we start to now lean toward what loneliness really looks like and feels like, whew.
Especially as an entrepreneur too.
Be broke and be lonely and see how that feels. Be broke and lonely and see how that feels. Be in a position to where, and I'm going to speak from my heart right now, be in a position to where child support at one point in time in my life had started doubling because I ended up getting behind and was in arrears. And now this child support was coming out of my check so fast to where I couldn't even pay my own bills. And you don't know who to turn to, because your friends are your friends. But if you got friends that's struggling just like you, they ain't got no money to loan you. So guess what? It gets real lonely when you're sitting in that house. Even if you're sitting in a house, some of us sat in cars. And I'm going to say that was me at one point in time. I sat in a car for a whole week one time because I couldn't figure it out. And because now I didn't have anybody to turn to. And I'm going to say thank you to the military, because the military did at least have some resources that I learned about when I came out of my depression, that really helped me and educated me on how to get back on the right path. And I did have some really good mentors that I truly started identifying in my pathway to recovery, that really helped me out. So is it true? Yes. Loneliness is real.
It is real. And what do you think the difference is on, especially nowadays? I feel like now relationship, like when you have a breakup and divorce and breakups, I think women, we process that differently nowadays than I think we used to. I know I used to see a lot more heartbreak with women back in the day than I see now. More it's almost like now I see women more like they feel a little bit more empowered after they break up, and the man is more like, damn,
Hey, women right now are fighting harder to be independent and single than they are to keep their relationship.
Golly.
And
why would you feel that way?
I feel that way because this independent movement,
I feel
this
like
systematic,
you think that we want to be doing all of this stuff by ourselves.
No, I think you don't realize, because you're emotionally driven. I think you don't realize it until after the smoke clears. Once you get past your emotion and reality hits, and you start saying, holy crap, I'm stuck with all these bills now.
Now, I will say, and I'm trying not to get too personal, but I will say, yeah, it was a awakening after the smoke cleared.
After the smoke cleared.
Yeah, there was an awakening, but at the same time, you gotta there's a weighing of things. Like, would you rather would you rather live in a household where you are being treated a certain way, where you're not getting, you are not even liked, you know what I mean, and you're doing all the things that you think you're supposed to do, and you're just not in a healthy relationship. But so as the smoke clears, now you realize you have to take care of certain things that you didn't have to take care of before.
I think you're speaking at a very high level when you start talking about what your challenges are. I think what we're talking about symptoms versus what's the real problem.
No, I think we're thinking about women choosing independence over being treated a certain way. I think we're talking about women choosing independence over being cheated on, treated wrongly, being verbally and financially and physically abused. They're being treated, they're choosing independence. I think that every woman would love to be within a loving relationship. Nobody's fighting out of a loving, healthy relationship to be independent.
Yes, they are.
Hell no.
Majority of
Who?
them are
Who?
really thinking that independence is the
Who?
right way.
Which
Let me-
what woman do you know that was in a healthy relationship? I'm not talking about you. Everybody has their ups and downs,
Yeah.
ins and outs. We all have that.
Yeah.
If you're mature enough, you understand that. So you're in a healthy relationship with a decent
Hold on,
man.
wait. Let's define what a healthy relationship.
A healthy.
Are your bills paid?
Yeah, however they get paid,
No.
they're getting
We're
paid.
just talking about a healthy relationship.
Yeah,
Right
if
now.
they're
Are your
getting-
bills paid?
I'm talking about a healthy relationship where you're
Are you getting abused? Are you getting verbally or physically abused every day? Do a man walk in, sit down, B? I ain't come here to hit all his
right.
every
So
day.
I'm just saying, if you're in a
Just
relationship,
roll with me for a second.
you're good. I'm trying
We're
to.
talking about verbal abuse, physical abuse,
Financial
we're talking
abuse.
about financial abuse in here, and we're talking about a safe environment. Are you in a safe? And now it's two categories of this. You got a family category, and you got a person that's just trying to grow into a relationship. Two people with no kids. So let's not get those two
Okay.
mixed up with each other. When you got two people that don't have any kids, you have options to say this is not the right fit for me.
Right.
But when we're talking about our households with a family and kids, there needs to be a whole lot of sacrifice, a whole lot of learning how to communicate, a whole lot of, we got to put more emphasis on how we're going to learn how to not just live together, but learn how to grow together. And that's the problem. We're not learning how to grow together.
That could be the case.
And
And-
it is the case.
Yeah, that could be the case, but I'm just saying I don't think that the statement that women are fighting for independence when they're in a healthy, even decent relationship. I don't think that women. I don't think that y'all think that we want independence so bad. Of course, if I'm single, of course I want to be independent and be able to take care of myself. But if I'm in a healthy, loving relationship, I'm not gonna fight myself. I'm not gonna fight my way out of what I feel is a healthy, loving relationship
Exactly.
and want to be independent.
Exactly.
I'm not. I'm just
And
not.
I think what you're saying
and
right
I don't
now,
think a lot of women would. And if you want to say, if you agree with me, say I agree with Karen, because
but no. Listen to what you're saying.
I
You're
know what I'm saying.
No. Listen to what you're saying. You're saying a woman that's in a healthy relationship does not want to be independent. Of course they don't. Those are the ones that still married. Those are the women that still married.
Hello.
They don't go anywhere.
So
We're talking about
why
the
would
women.
you say most women are fighting to get out of
We're
to fighting for
talking
their
about-
independence out of a relationship?
We're talking about, just like the young lady brought up earlier, the ones with the mothers and the grandmothers that has programmed them early in life. Girl, you need to do this by yourself, because they were mad that they're back in the day. Old granddaddy was running the streets. He had 3-4 families all over the neighborhood. We're talking about the grandmother who sat through that.
Right. So when the grandmother sees their granddaughter being treated that way, they're going to tell their granddaughter, you know what? You need to leave that man. You need to leave him now, or you're going to end up like me, old, alone, with gout, and can't even walk, because you spent your life taking care of a man who was running the street on you, cheating on you, beating on you, talking to you crazy, and all the things. But he paid the bills.
That happens in every relationship.
No, it does not.
Everything that is a part of growth and development, to go through your relationship. Sometimes you're going to fight.
I don't want to go through that.
But it's a part of growing up.
I don't
Let
want
me
to
tell you something what I learned about
I don't want
therapy.
that to be a part of my story.
Let me tell you what I learned about
Hello.
therapy. Therapy right now.
Michelle said, I agree with Karen.
Therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it. Well, she's talking about what you said. I'm talking about therapy right now. Therapy right now teaches people, in some therapy sessions, they teach people how to
get through those things.
No, they don't teach how to get through. They basically teach you how to separate yourself and heal yourself individually. Now, the problem is, as soon as you heal yourself, you still got to go back into that relationship. So you're not even building the right set of skills to be able to navigate through how we're going to grow together.
Mm-hmm. So I go to therapy, I heal myself. Then I got to come back into this chaos.
Because you all need to go in there you need to heal you and your deep-rooted trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that may be. Who knows what that may be, but we all have been through something in life.
Right.
And if I want to put it on me, I had to go fix myself first before I could jump into a situation where I didn't have the tools to be able to help someone else. And so now here we are, we're in a place where therapy should be, let me teach you how to navigate through your obstacles inside of your household. And let me teach this other person how to support you while you're going through that.
Mhm.
It's not about setting these boundaries and I want to do this and I need to be by myself. A woman and a man is not supposed to be alone. We're supposed to be together. That's how life is. If you're growing old by yourself, yeah, you're going to have peace. But I'm going to tell you something. It's nothing like love. It's nothing like a positive relationship in your life. I don't care what nobody tell you. Independence, that crap sucks. Being by yourself, it sucks. It's going to be a lot of lonely nights where you sitting there wishing you had somebody and you're going to get that big long pillow and hug up on that pillow and thinking it's somebody else, but it's not like a real man or a real woman laying next to you.
I'll say that peace.
Peace.
That's what you said. Men like, they like peace.
We like peace.
Women, we like peace too. And I like peace way more than going back and forth, trying to figure things out for years on top of years, chances on top of chances, and all the things. I really feel like independence is hard, and especially for a woman, like for anybody, independence. Everything is on you, especially when there's children involved, and everything is on you, especially if you're in a relationship and everything is on you. Like, that's hard. Nobody wants that. So, I mean, and nobody's fighting for that. I would rather fight. I would fight tooth and nail to stay in my relationship than stay. Oh, I want to be independent. So independence?
It's not a good thing. Let me ask you this, Karen. In a relationship, when we start talking about who creates more of the, who disrupts the peace the most, you can't say it's men and you can't say it's women. You can only say it's the individual who has not identified who they are as a person, an individual who has not got the proper help that they need to treat their deep-rooted trauma, and you also got to look at what type of man and what type of woman really just don't have emotional intelligence.
Right. And you know what? Sometimes people think, oh, peace is, a lot of, like, when there's not peace, there's a lot of fussing and fighting. Like, I never did a whole bunch of fussing and fighting. But was there peace all the time? No. Sometimes getting ignored or getting getting the silent treatment, that's not peaceful. You know what I mean? Or, or that's just hearing somebody talk about you on the phone to others, that's not peaceful. You know what I mean? It don't even have to be a lot of fussing and fighting for there not to be peace. But we're gonna bring this show to an end, and we're gonna take one last quick break. What, Sunshine? Yeah, and then we're gonna close this thing on out.
So soon?
It's 3:36.
So soon?
I told you.
Oh God.
It's 3:36. So we're gonna take a quick break. And listen, we're going to get back here. And this is Karen the Connector here on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right, so Sam, you still got the way. All right, Sonya playing what up, though? Kenny Misfit, what up, though? Yeah. Two eye, man. Two eye, man. What? Two eye, man. What?
I'm in the clouds when I'm with you. Girl, what's your name? I hope this don't offend you. Tastes like cocaine. I didn't think I'd get you. I get so high. Now I'm feeling for you, baby. Where's the lie?
Roses of wine, out of blue. This feels like love.
Ribbons in the sky, they fall on you. This feels like love. Like love.
Right on it, right. put you racing in my wheel. Put my life on my life. Well, you know just what to do. Baby, I can't wait to get to you.
It's a vibe and a function. Is that tribal or something? Where this shit was by dead girl till I end up coming out rap like I signed a dungeon. Yeah, like big boy Dre now. Try to kinda look like Bay now. I'ma shoot my shot like Jay now. Shit, I shoot like right now. Home see girl like straight now. On God, let the Lord make a way now. If you scared, go to church like gay now. But ain't scared, I'm with a DJ now. She said I pass on the hot movie blade now. But I like them blocks, okay now. Shit, I'll shade them. I said, girl, your love is so guitar. Now let me play on that. I play your favorite song, God Clash, let me stay on that. I knew it was a smash when I featured Sonya Blade on that. 4 years later, caught her up and hit replay on that. Girl, I had you spending all your funds. Hit you with this rock and you think that I'm cheating Peter Gunn. Say some shit like, nigga, did you smoke crack before you came over? You remind me of my G, but I just Range Rovers. Dog that pussy, I don't really care, I just want you to come around my way. I know I got a lot of mouth that make you scream, God, find your face, ain't he good? Yeah, think I like it better around my face. Get your top 8, I think I like it better around my space. Time no, anyway, white lines, black glove, opposites attract in here. I just brought the pack in here, and I brought this hard drive computer, don't get hacked in here. 2i tribe.
All right, we are back here live on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. This is Karen the Connector, and I'm here every Thursday from 2 to 4 talking about what you've been looking for. And today we have Corey Thomas in the building as my special guest, and we're talking about a complex. I thought it was delicate, but this is a complex topic we're talking about today. And we're talking about what men want to say, but they don't say, all the emotions and all the things that they think, feel. And Corey has came into this conversation with a strong opinion.
Absolutely.
But we have a guest who's called in, Michelle. She's called in all the way from Buffalo, New York. Michelle, what is your opinion on this topic we're talking about today?
Oh, yes. This is Dr. Michelle Swigerson.
Oh, excuse me. Hello.
Hey, Dr. Michelle.
Hi. So I have to be honest and transparent. I've only been listening for the past like 20 minutes, and my heart is to listen to you talk about your relationships and the women and the way you feel. It just made me ache for you when you're talking about crying. But women, we're independent because we don't have a choice but to be that. That's why we're doing it. And I agree with Karen. There's certain things that you don't talk about. Like she was saying to her friends about her marriage. There were certain things that I never shared, even to this day, about my marriage with some of my friends, my closest friends, because there's just some things that were sacred, and I just wouldn't want to. I just wanted things to be the way they were. I always wanted him to be respected as the person that he was. He was a great guy. You know, he's the guy that made everybody laugh, but our marriage just didn't work out because it just didn't work out. And he knows and I know what, the ins and out of that. But I think that having a trauma-informed therapist makes a difference.
Absolutely.
I think that real facts, and Karen, that's Omar Overstreet talking. And he was saying, with God's grace, God has carried me through a lot of things. And when I say Karen is right, because I have sleepovers with my girlfriends. Some of their husbands don't understand it, but when we get together on a Friday night and a Saturday night, we have a great time. And there is a lot of support for women. There is, and I'm not sure what's out there for men because I never looked for anything for men. But I do agree that therapy does work. It's done a tremendous thing for me in my life, on how to deal with things at my job. And I have an amazing support system right here with me as I speak right now. And so I just had to call in because, first of all, I'm like, what kind of women have you been with? Like, who hurt you? Like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, this man is so strong. I'm like, who is she? Because I want to know.
Hey, Dr. Michelle, let me say this.
I said the same thing.
I'm like, I want to know who did it.
Let me say this, first of all. I actually married and was in relationships with some amazing women. The problem that we have is they're just problems that's cultural problems that they did not know how to deal with. And at a certain point in time, I didn't even know how to deal with it. And so when we start talking about growth and development, it gets way deeper than just what your parents may share with you. You're right. There are some technical skills that you need to learn about really recalibrating the way that you think. And as long as we never understand how to recalibrate, or we teach our leaders how to recalibrate the way that we think, we're going to always go into these situations. And when they say hurt people, that's just what it is. But they've never done anything that I feel is out of the ordinary in a lot of relationships.
When you say cultural differences, do you mean ethnicity? Do you mean marrying somebody from another country? Do you mean
another race?
Yeah.
Well, when I'm talking about cultural, just our African American women and men right now.
Okay. Because for me, I mean, I didn't get married until I was 40, right? So I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't learn how to cook. I didn't, and I think
I did.
Well, I didn't learn how to cook. I was career oriented, and sometimes I think I should have learned before I got married so I could really try to cook for my husband. But that was something he knew before he married me. It never was a problem, but there were other things that, like combining families. I was a woman with no children. I didn't know what it was like to be with somebody seriously and marry somebody with children. I never had lived with a man before, so I feel like there may have been some differences, life experiences that I did not have that may have made a difference. Life experiences.
So Dr. Michelle, I asked this question as well. Where are our women, our married women? Where are those role models that's saying, let me teach you some of these things that you may need to understand before you get married?
Okay, so you have to be open. That's why I'm wondering, like, who was she? Because you have to be open. Like, I had a desire to be married.
Yeah, but
and a woman has to be. It's one thing to be taught something, but it's also your heart has to be open to receive what somebody's trying to teach you. Because there are people that are know-it-alls on both sides of the story. Go ahead. What you want to say, Kizzy?
So when we start talking about,
hold on. Who's this?
This is Kizzy.
Hey, Kizzy, what you got to say, girl?
Well, I just want to say, from a perspective of a mother with 4 children, I have 3 sons, and I'm very old school. My mother is actually a drug addict, so I did not get to teach a lot of these skills. But I was blessed with a grandmother who, later in life helped me out a little bit. And so I am one of those women who work full time, 2 jobs. I have my own business, and I put an apron on every day and cook dinner for my family. But in raising my sons, I have taught them this, right? My husband has taught them this. We've been together since we were 16 and 17. So we do exist. We have learned a lot by trial and error with each other. But my boys are having a difficult time dating because women don't even know how to accept a man that comes with these type of qualities, that want to work, that don't want to run a street. There are women that's like that. Young girls, because the mother is young, because the mother has not had those examples. However,
so you mean the young girls are young? They
are correct. However, there are women out there who are offering these skills to these young ladies, but it's not cool to them.
Mm-hmm. So, Kizzy, one question I have for you: What do you think that men struggle with? What do you think that men struggle with right now, today, 2026, that they don't say out loud? What do you think they're not saying out loud? What do you think that they can't tell their spouses? I mean, you're in a loving, long-lasting relationship. Yeah. So, what do you think? One of the things that men just feel like they just can't say, and maybe you have a relationship where your husband can tell you things that most husbands don't tell their wives or their significant others. But what do you think those one or two of those things are?
He has shared with me that men do like flowers. Men do like to be able to be vulnerable. I did hear that. I'm sorry, sir, I did not catch your name, but I did hear that pillow talk can sometimes be very dangerous for men because there are women who use it against them. And early on in our relationship, yes, I mean, we had pillow talk, but he was very guarded. And I think it came from past experiences because every woman is not like that. But being vulnerable is difficult for men. I know, and my oldest son will be 29, and he will not open up because he was vulnerable before and was hurt. So she did use it against them. So it is very difficult for men, as I'm watching my young men grow and then in the relationship with my husband, to sometimes be vulnerable, because let me tell you, my tongue is very deadly. I am very creative as a woman. I know exactly what to say and how to say it to hurt a man.
That's true.
And unfortunate, it's not a good thing. I'm aware now because I've grown and I am a Christian woman. So I accept my responsibility in whatever damage I cause, but we are very dangerous. Our mouth will flip what you told me is your weakness and cut you all the way down to the white meat.
I don't do that kind of thing, though.
Neither do I.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to. That's not what I you know what I mean? But we have the ability to.
You have the ability.
Maybe that's where his hurt is coming from.
Correct. There are women who are capable of doing that. And I'm going to tell you, it's not like I wake up and be like, I'm about to shred him up. But in my mind, as a woman who has dealt with it, if you say something to me that I feel like is hurtful, oh, I'm coming. But see, we tear it down. Like, men can do something like, man, them shoes don't even look right. Oh, we get ready to talk about you from the head of your toes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, a man may say something that's like off-putting and it's minor, whereas we are very creative. Absolutely. And we're going to take something personal.
Well, Kizzy, thank you so much for chiming in. Michelle, thank you for calling in and giving your opinion on this conversation.
Great job today.
Yeah.
I mean, just from what I heard, and you folks had me sitting on the edge of my seat.
Well, listen, thank you for calling in. Make sure you tune in next week, because I think we may have Corey here once a month. And here sounds like we have having a great dialogue about relationships, and of course it's a great a great conversation, because we deal with relationships, whether we're friendships, significant others, all the things. We're dealing with these things every day, and they are kind of the base of our lives, sometimes just building relationships and connecting with one another. So I think this is a great conversation we had today. And Corey, thank you so much for calling in. And I'm gonna just say, and then I'm gonna let you close this thing on out,
Okay.
But I just think that today this wasn't a conversation or blaming men or women. It was about understanding each other. When people feel safe enough to speak, relationships heal, families grow stronger, and communities can become healthier. So I feel like this is a great conversation we had today.
I agree. Thank you so much for having me, Karen.
And make sure you let everybody know how to follow you on your social media as well.
Okay. Well, I just want to say to all of men and women are getting into a relationship. Relationships are what they are. You're gonna go through your ups, your downs, your ins, your outs, and that's just it. But now to specifically talk about the African American and our culture in relationships, we do need to reset. We all need to reset, the women and the men. We need to reset, and we need to make sure that we teach our leaders on how to teach people how to reset, because that's our problem of today. It's not what we're going through. It's that we don't have the right mentors and coaches in place to be able to help us and to be able to help our kids, because I work with the youth as well. And guess what? I'm one of the ones who have to get those kids back in the fight, understanding what's going on. But it's sad when I got to send them back into a household that's filled with drama, chaos, and toxicity. So I would say to us as people that's getting into relationships, sometimes you need to reset and you need to find the right person to help you. When I started talking about when I started talking about deep-rooted trauma, like she said, you need to find the right therapist, because all therapists are not equipped with the skills to help you with deep-rooted trauma. And if you need any assistance, hey, you can reach me at Corey@veteransmoldingminds.org. Corey@veteransmoldingminds.org. That is my email. You can email me. I am very, very much open to allowing you to, enroll in our classes that we have for the adults and also for our youth. Karen, thank you very much.
All right, Corey, thank you so much for being my guest today. This was a great conversation.
Hey.
I do feel like I need to decompress at this moment. But listen, y'all tune in every Thursday from 2 to 4. I'm here talking about what you're looking for. Look, I'm already discombobulated, but I'm here every Thursday from 2 to 4 Hits on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. Make sure you tune in every Thursday. I'll be here. See you next Thursday.
Body image and positivity are major impacts in today's society. At Nurse to Beauty, we believe in bringing the beauty from within to the forefront. For those of you who are planning to have cosmetic surgery, Nurse to Beauty is ready and available for all of your postoperative needs. My name is Dontricia Dunham, and I am the registered nurse and owner. I have over 10 years of experience with emergency medicine that has aided me in giving quality medical care for cosmetic surgery clients. We specialize in a number of safe and effective options and solutions to help you achieve your ideal body image. Have a one-on-one virtual consultation via phone or private suite location. Have your lymphatic therapies and all other postoperative needs performed by a licensed medical professional. Mobile postoperative services are also available upon request. Not interested in cosmetic surgery at this time? No worries. We also provide an array of body modification services to fulfill all of your beauty enhancement requests. We understand how costly aftercare can be after a cosmetic surgery. Ask about our affordable payment plans today with instant approval and no hard credit check. Log on to www.nursetobeauty.com for more information. Call or text 404-849-0260. For education, client transformations, and reviews, follow all of our social medias at Nurse to Beauty. See you next time.